One of the biggest pains in life is comparing yourself to others. We scroll through endless feeds, seeing someone buy a new car, launch a business, or travel to places we can only dream of. And somewhere inside we whisper, "Why not me?" But we don't try to understand. Her path and mine are not the same. It eats away quietly, leaving us restless, distracted, and ungrateful for the things we already have. The truth is, comparison is a thief that doesn't just steal joy, it steals focus, creativity, and even hope. Yet very few stop to ask a simple question. If their life is theirs alone, why do they keep living it as if it were someone else's race? When you measure yourself against someone else's timeline, you're bound to feel behind. If you're a runner but you're watching a swimmer, no matter how fast you sprint, you'll think you're losing because you can't breathe underwater. That's the danger of comparison. It blinds you to your own field of strength. And while this problem has always existed, today's world amplifies it louder than ever. With social media showcasing curated highlights, it feels as though everyone else is sprinting ahead while you stand still. But the reality is different. Just because someone shines in their moment doesn't mean your light is any dimmer. Let me tell you a story, one you might see yourself in. There was once a young girl named Maya who lived in a bustling town. She was talented in many small ways. She loved painting, she cared deeply about animals, and she had a curious mind. Yet every time she opened her phone, she felt small. Her friends were winning awards, posting glamorous photos, and showing off their achievements. Maya often told herself, "What's the point of my little efforts when they're doing so much more?" Slowly, her joy in painting faded. She stopped volunteering at the shelter. She even began withdrawing from conversations because she felt her life held nothing worth sharing. One evening, her grandmother invited her for a walk through the town's botanical garden. The path wound between flowers of every color, tall trees standing proudly, and tiny plants tucked close to the soil. Maya, distracted as always, barely noticed until her grandmother stopped and asked, "Do you see this garden?" Maya nodded. Her grandmother smiled and said, "Every plant here has a role. The tall sunflower doesn't compete with the violet close to the ground. The rose doesn't envy the oak tree. Each grows in its own way, and together they create beauty." Imagine if the rose refused to bloom just because the sunflower was taller. Would this place still feel as magical? Something shifted in Maya at that moment. She realized she had been measuring her worth by someone else's height, forgetting that her colors mattered too. Her grandmother placed a gentle hand on her shoulder and said, "Your job isn't to outshine others. Your job is to shine in your own way." A garden doesn't ask which flower is best. It thrives because each one adds something unique. Over time, Maya picked up her brushes again. She painted not to impress, but to express. She went back to the shelter, not to show off, but to care. With every small act, she felt alive again. And while her friends continued their own paths, Maya found hers. Ironically, people around her began to admire her even more, not because she chased recognition, but because she carried peace and purpose. She learned the same truth many forget. When you stop comparing, you start living. Think about it. The sun and the stars never argue about who shines brighter. They take turns, each magnificent in their own way. A bird never envies a dolphin. It soars in the sky because that's where it belongs. Contrast frames it clearly. When you live by comparison, life feels heavy. But when you live by alignment, life feels lighter. The shift is subtle but powerful. The reason comparison hurts so much is because it convinces you that you're incomplete. It whispers, "You're not enough yet." But the moment you anchor yourself in your own lane, You realize you were never lacking. You were simply distracted. Every person has gifts waiting to be cultivated. Some grow fast, some grow slow. Some shine early, some shine later. But all have meaning. So next time you catch yourself scrolling and thinking, "I'll never be like them," pause and remember, you're not supposed to be. If a fish spends its days trying to climb trees, it will always feel useless. But in the water, it commands the ocean. Likewise, your strength lies not in imitating others, but in discovering what you were built to do. That discovery begins not with envy, but with appreciation for yourself, for your progress, and for the unique path unfolding under your feet. Maya's story isn't just hers, it's ours. We all fall into the trap of comparison, but we can all step out by choosing perspective over envy, gratitude over resentment, and growth over distraction. Life becomes richer when you stop competing in a race you never signed up for. And who knows, maybe your journey, walked in your own way, will one day inspire someone else to stop comparing too. So carry this thought with you. You don't need to shine like anyone else. You just need to shine as yourself. If this story touched something inside you, share it forward. Someone out there might need this reminder today. Tell me in the comments what part spoke to you the most, because I truly read every word. And if you want more stories like this, stories that make you pause, feel, and see life differently, make sure you subscribe and stay with me on this journey. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs the original you.